All right, guys. Looks like we're back, and we got Sanctum Velum versus Last Call this time. Uh, Over on Last Call, I believe we have the highest elo player besides me in the tournament, another E6 player. So it's definitely looking like they're going to be a strong team, but honestly, it looks like they're the underdogs in this one.
Yeah. Coming into the tournament, Sancta Velum getting a lot of people like in the draft interviews saying that they were going to be one of the stronger teams. So we do have an underdog match here, I think.
I'm going to be interested to see how this draft goes. It seems like people are really prioritizing the Warden and the Viper character. I mean, if you look at the most recent Night Shift bans, it's just like those characters are undefeatable. Mirage seems to be very high priority, as well as the Bebop and the Lash. These characters are just so strong, and it's very, very hard to punish a lot of those characters.
Oh boy, I cannot wait.
Oh boy, I cannot wait. I mean, personally, in my games, the Viper character has felt really good. In fact, getting banned, it made me a little bit lost last game, but that's okay. We come back.
We didn't see a Viper in mine, but we did see Warden in both. And both times he was very strong. So expect to see that again.
I mean, honestly, these characters, they're just so unstoppable once they get online, right? You just put them in the side lane, put them opposite side for a good 5-10 minutes. And then once this 22-minute urn, the 20-minute urn spawns, and they're there to fight, it's going to be a very, very tough fight for whichever team is opposing them. Very interested to see what the bans are, because bans have actually been interesting. Bans have been mostly on carries in my games, at least from what I've seen. I don't know what's been happening in the other games, but I did see a Shiv and a Celeste ban the first game, but then the second game, it was mostly carries. So
I've been seeing a lot of target bans specifically.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know who they're going to go after with these bans. I mean, assuming it's
looking
going to
at
be Aphex and legit the Eternus players.
Yeah, the two highest players. That's seeming like that's the strategy for a lot of teams here. But I'm really excited to see how this goes. Can we talk about Turtle's little top hat? He looks so majestic with that thing.
It's beautiful. I mean, what can I say? You got your mustache, and
I got the mustache.
Other stuff.
Top hat.
Yeah. And I got the top hat. I've had this
they start banning
for like so long.
Okay, we're gonna see both bans and both first picks here. Mina, a very strong character.
Mina first banned a lot.
But I do think that this one's also a target ban. It looks like it's going to be a target ban onto Loop. He is a flex player. He is this position 2, kind of soft carry kind of character. And then the Silver, on the other hand, just a very strong frontliner, often gets banned. Yeah. Turtle, if you want to talk about the picks a little bit.
Well, I mean, the Haze and the Lash. Haze is kind of surprising to me. I feel like there are other stronger gun carries right now, like we were talking about, the Viper, the Warden. So that surprises me. The Lash is good. I don't know about first pick Lash, though, unless they know the other team has a Lash.
That's what I've been seeing a lot of. I've been seeing a lot of the first pick Lash in the scrims heading up to this, and in my matches, both games were actually first pick Lash.
I've barely seen any Lash in mine.
To talk to the point of Haze, I don't think that Haze is going to be the carry on this team comp. I think that they're still going to pick up a Warden or a Viper or a Mirage, something that has this huge burst potential towards the late game, and Haze is going to be this maybe position 2, maybe even a roamer going curse, maxing ult, and just always looking for this one pick so that your team is never down. That's
could see honestly a position for Haze.
Yeah,
I could see a strong position for Haze here, just roaming, never in lane, could be invisible anywhere at any time. You don't know if you're getting ganked. It's kind of scary to play against.
Very scary. Right. Very scary. And an Apollo pick. This is another one of these very, very strong. And Celeste comes out as well. So it's very clear that the team of Last Call wants to play for this mid-game activity. Now, we need to see what these carries are going to be on the team. But right now, I'm looking at the draft of Last Call, and Shiv Haze is fine for Sancta Velum, but Lash and Apollo and Celeste are these very, very nukey characters through mid-game. It's going to be very, very hard unless Sanctum Velum can try and get this game late. Right? A Shiv and a Haze very late game are going to be very hard to kill in comparison to Apollo. Once he doesn't have his abilities, he's very easy to catch out. Lash, once you get unstoppable, once you get indomitable, it's very, very easy to catch out these characters late game once you have the utility for it. But on the other hand, Sancta Velum they look like they're going to be playing for a very scaling comp.
Yeah, Sancta Velum is so far drafting for real endgame, like 40-minute game. That's what they want here.
And honestly, looking back at the bans, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Right? The Mina ban, it's one of these mid-game characters, but it can push them towards the late game. So maybe the Mina ban, maybe it was a target ban, but maybe it's also going to help out Sanctum Velum get to the late game here. And looking at the silver ban now in the context of Last Call's team, it doesn't make much sense. To be completely honest, it looks like their team is very evasive and they're never really going to get caught in the Silver's line of fire. Though maybe that will change once we see Last Call's carry.
Yes, we still have to see the rest of the picks and these 2 more bans. Also,
Go Mo and
Sancta
Krill.
coming out with a Mo, so probably position 6 support Mo.
Position 6, position 5, maybe. I have been really liking the hard support comps in these games with the Kelvin, with the Page, with the Rem, because at the top level, these characters kind of fall off. But these games aren't played at the top level, so this dome, the beam, the nades, being able to freeze stamina, catching people out of position is going to be really good. And a Dynamo ban comes out for Sancta Velum.
They do not want them to have that Dynamo as their support pick right here. They still don't have one, although that does leave Kelvin open for Last Call. Kelvin is really strong right now, as you were just saying.
Yeah, so I believe Sancta Velum does get first pick after bans here, so maybe they're going to snatch up the Kelvin as long as it goes unbanned, because I'm looking at this comp, Hazolt, Shiv Dash, Mo and Krill, Scorn on Burrow. These are all abilities that really, really flourish inside of the dome. And then looking at the side of Last Call, right? Lash ult, Apollo ult, Celeste ult, all things that, like, when you dome, it's not really great for them. So I think the Kelvin pick really, really strong here for the side of Sancta Velum. But we do have to see what Last Call is going to ban here. Honestly, it should be the Kelvin. It should be the Kelvin.
Kelvin would be good. There's a lot of other options too, because they don't, like, you could still ban Warden or Viper. They don't have their main carry yet, unless they assume it's going to be Haze.
See, the thing that I don't like about banning the Warden or the Viper is if you ban one of them, you're passing the other one straight into the hands of Sancta Velum. With how high tier these characters are right now, it is so important that both of them are on opposite sides of the bracket. So giving one team, either the Warden or the Viper, just really, really puts them into a better position. Though I do want to note, Mirage is looking very good for the team of Last Call, and maybe this could be their position 1. Right, the inhib is going to be amazing on the Shiv. He's naturally building Healbane. Like there are so many things that Tornado gets away from the Haze ult. Tornado can CC the Shiv ult. But here comes a Doorman ban into a Paradox pick.
That's gotta be a target ban.
I don't know. The Doorman's been really strong in my games. Okay, and immediately Last Call responding with, "I'm taking the Warden.
They know what they want.
Now we have a front
line. They get
line.
the Warden for free.
Yeah.
And Billy's been looking good. He's a good replacement for Silver.
This is true. It's looking like it's going to be position 1 Warden, position 2 Celeste, maybe 3 Billy, maybe 4 Billy, 5 Billy, and 3 Apollo. I don't necessarily know here. It really depends on their last pick here.
I think it's probably going to be 3 Apollo, 4 Billy, or maybe even 5 Billy. Just full tank, front line. Let Lash go to the 4.
And now, remember originally when we had talked about Lash, Apollo, Celeste, these characters being this mid-game core? Now it's honestly looked like Sanctum Velum is trying to build up their mid-game potential with double catch characters here, right? The Paradox swap is going to be instrumental into setting up Mo and Krill ultimates, but a Graves pick comes out. This is something I haven't seen in the tournament personally, and I honestly want to see, maybe they're playing Spirit, maybe they're playing Ult, maybe they're playing Gun. I don't think position 1 Graves is definitely the method, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I can't say I agree with this Graves pick here. Maybe they're onto something that I'm not aware of, but I can't say that I agree with it.
In my experience, Graves is a pick when your comp is very Spirit heavy, or when the enemy team's comp is very gun heavy, right? If the opposing team has a Warden, a Viper, a Silver, right? Being able to shut them down with your split shot, your passive actually negates weapon damage. It's a nice little inhibitor specifically for weapon damage. And then as well as shredding spirit resist. So neither of these things are true, as Turtle said. It's just like, it's an interesting pick here. And Yamato, it's probably, is this position 1 Graves?
This has got to be, no, I think it's position 1 Haze.
Position 1 Haze,
at
position 2 Shiv. This is going to be interesting. And the support pick is going to be Ivy. Kelvin undrafted in this. Kelvin looking very good for either of these teams, right? Kelvin comboing with Celeste Ball, Kelvin comboing with Billy ult as well as Warden ult, right? Either team would be very, very helping with a Kelvin pick, but Ivy coming out for this team of Last Call.
I do think that Last Call has the better looking draft here.
Oh, 100%. 100%. In terms of characters
strong,
that are
just... They have Warden for the late game. They have Flash ult to shut down a lot. Another team can really respond to Lash other than Yamato. Can just not. I mean,
they're going to have Phantom Strike no ult. They're going to have Haze Sleep Dagger. They're going to have Paradox Swap. There are things that they can do to shut down this Lash, but it's going to be hard once he gets the Undominable, once he gets the Unstoppable, especially if he's going to be playing Spirit Lash, which it's going to be tough. It's going to depend on the Ivy build. If the Ivy is playing hard support, maybe we see a Spirit Lash come out, even though how strong Gun Lash is.
I think we see Gun Lash here. This is looking
I'm
like a full support Ivy. They have Apollo Celeste on their Spirit, so they're fine on that front. This is looking like position 4 Gun Lash.
And now, completely ignoring the compositions here, looking at the characters individually, Last Call just has a higher tier of character on their team, right? Lash is an S tier character, Celeste is an S tier character, Apollo's an S tier character. Just looking at the most recent night shifts, all of these characters are picked almost essentially all of the games, and the only characters that Sancta Velum has to match this is Haze and Shiv, right? Just in terms of raw power of characters, the Last Call is looking like an amazing draft here.
I could not agree with you more. This is such a strong draft for Last Call. Now we just have to wait to see how it all pans out in the game.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, to say the least, right? Because there are a lot of things that Sanctum Velum can do to combat this very, very strong composition that Last Call has. It's going to be a very macro-oriented game for the team of Sancta Velum, and it's just going to be very, very hard for them to, outposition these high mobility characters, right? Ivy being able to fly from side lane to side lane instantly, Lash with an insane amount of grapples, and I mean, 3 of the characters on Last Call naturally build Stamina Mastery in all of their builds, right? It is going to be a very, very fight-heavy sided for Last Call. It's going to be a very fight-heavy game, and it's just going to be how Sanctum Velum tries to respond to these rotations and stuff from Last Call.
Sancta Velum does have the higher rank average of the two teams, so it is possible to see them out macro here, even with all of that included.
But noting this, that
it's going to be hard.
Speaking specifically about macro, it's going to be a little bit harder for Sancta Velum just because, sure, their average might be higher, but Last Call has an Eternus 6 player. Last Call has a player who has experienced the game, knows where to be at the right time, and if he is calming to his team and he is properly communicating where his team needs to be, how they need to fight, when they need to fight, it's going to be very hard for Sancta Velum here. And honestly, I think the comp favors just that, right? It favors just that. Constant fights, constant pressure, and just trying to shut out Sancta Velum as early as possible while keeping your Warden in that side lane to just get so much farm and make it impossible for the other team to come back.
Sancta Velum, apologies. Last Call should just be looking everywhere on the map for picks no matter where they can, because looking at Sancta Velum's team, it's going to be hard for them to rotate. For Urn, for mid-boss, for just fights on the other side of the map, it's going to be hard for them to get there and show up in time.
Yep. So they're really looking for these favorable 3v1s, 3v2s, 2v1s, where they just catch somebody out, and maybe it's on a center, maybe it's on a camp, maybe it's under a tower, right? Maybe somebody on Last Call overextends just a little bit. And this Mo, Paradox, Graves, right? They're going to be so good at punishing these people who are either out of position or in position, but just not with enough people around them. But to also counter this point, we're looking at Last Call's team composition as well, right? As I stated, 3 characters naturally building Stamina Mastery, right? They have a hyper-mobile comp, so if they do get caught out, there's a chance that they can just leave. There's a chance that, if Mo doesn't build duration, if Paradox doesn't silence them, if Graves doesn't get the wall in the correct position, it's going to be probably pretty easy for a lot of these characters on Last Call to just leave.
Even if they don't want to leave, they just have to last a little bit, and the rest of their team will be able to follow up and get there and rotate to that fight very, very fast. Ivy can fly somebody over. Celeste, need I say more? Lash and Apollo, both great movement as well.
Yeah, no doubt on that. And speaking about the lasting out that you just said, I mean, look at these characters. 5 of them have natural sustain built into their kit. Ivy with her 2 to spread heals to her team that gives her natural bullet lifesteal. Billy with his melees, right? When he's blasted, he steals max HP from the opponent. Celeste with her 1, right? This effect that it applies on people, it gives her spirit lifesteal on the targets that she hits with her 1. And Apollo with his flawless events, right? Hitting those perfects is sometimes a 200 to 300 heal in just a moment, right? And then obviously everybody knows about the Lash Flog. Especially if it's Gun Lash, right? We're building Tank Buster, we're building QSR, we're maxing that Flog for 80% heal against players. And when your Flog's hitting for 500, I mean, if you're hitting 3 people for 500 and you're healing 80% of that, it's just an insane amount of care, all on the side of Last Call here.
It's going to have to see a lot of anti-heal coming out of Sancta Velum, which isn't going to be easy looking at their comp. Yamato will get it, Graves has it inherently, and she'll get Inhibitor,
Yes.
But that'll be later into the game. So we won't see it early, which might be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an early heal bane pickup from the Shiv and the Mo. We know this is going to happen. Decay is looking really, really strong for the Shiv. True. Maybe we see a Decay rush here, right? Well, let's talk about lanes here in a second. So looking at this comp, I think we're going to see Shiv. We really want to see the Shiv matching the Billy or the Warden, where he can just slowly tickle them down. And if we do see a Decay rush come out, something that a lot of players were doing a little while ago, but aren't doing as much now, is going first item Egg into second item Decay on Shiv, which, I mean, looking at this comp, it seems really good here, right?
I think that's you just trying to sell that it's a good idea.
It wasn't even my idea. That's so main, bro. That's so main.
You still love to do it.
Oh yeah, I love to do it. It's really fun. I mean, really, you want to be doing it only if you're in these tanky lanes where you're against a Billy, a Warden, a Victor, and Abrams, right? Where your Decay can just do 200 to 300 HP and just keep your rage up. And here we're hopping into the match. We're going to see some lanes here. Do not pay attention to the lanes at the top. It seems like the team of... Sancta Velum has swapped lanes a little bit.
I don't know how many teams have been doing this, but my team personally has been doing this. Just, you don't want to give your opponents a read on where you're going. Make it easy for them to counterpick you or countermatch you.
100%.
So it does make things confusing on this casting standpoint, but it is better to do from the in-game standpoint. Yeah,
100%. Graves Yam is going to be a very strong lane here, especially into this Lash Warden. This Lash and Warden
on the weak side?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard. Lash notably is on the worst side for Lash, right? If you are going to play Lash, you really want him in yellow lane or Arch Mother green side. This is going to be quite interesting.
What are other lanes?
What is your objective in lane on the side of Last Call? What do you think?
Looking at their team, there's not really a lot of pick potential into these lanes. Like Yamato Shiv, that's going to be hard to kill. Oh wait, never mind, that's not the real lane. Yamato Graves, that's going to be hard to kill. And then we have mid lane Paradox and Mo. Mo just will keep healing, again, hard to kill. And then in the other lane, Shiv Haze. Shiv, again, just hard to kill. So it might just be very passive.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see an early gank onto the Shiv Haze lane from maybe the Celeste here. And notably, this Apollo player, this is the Ezek player. This is Loop, this is legit. He is a very strong player. Apollo's coming out here for Aphex. Game crash. This is a nice
took
little
a lot of damage
that
right
we have
here,
seen. Yes.
This is not a good engagement here. They're trade here for Sancta Velum. This shit is taking a lot of damage.
It's going to be a little bit tough there. I mean, that Shiv, he might be able to get out with the dash there, but it's also going to be a little bit tough for him to actually get back into this lane just with the pure amount of harass and wave clear, right? We're looking at this lane of Ivy Apollo. Now, it doesn't seem that strong. Normally, you want to put your Ivy in a lane with a gun carry where your Ivy can go off, do boxes, right? And Stoneform makes her really strong. But it's going to be really hard for the Shiv to ever get back into lane here unless he full resets, because Apollo's going to have constant harass while this Ivy just clears the lane over and over and over again. Very important timer that we just missed there is the 2-minute timer where boxes and camps spawn for the first time. Immediately, you want to look
got the steal on the mid camp, it looked like.
Which is going to be really good for them. Right. And honestly, I think that they can, right? They have that built-in sustain with the Mo. The Paradox Bomb can just instantly clear the camp. So playing that aggressive doesn't seem that horribly as long as you can properly kite and try to live there.
Yes, they have a great comp to just push that and instant clear that camp.
So, I mean, at this point, I'm really looking at this mid lane and watching their health totals, and I really want to see what's going to happen if the Celeste is maybe able to gank. Excuse me, sorry, I had a technical difficulty there. Yeah, I mean, looking at the health totals, it was just an early pick out onto the Billy, and very, very tough to come back from this lane now. Right, you do have the Celeste who's able to roam, but this Billy being down 500 souls on his lane is going to be very tough. Actually, it seems like it's way more than 500, right? This Paradox has 2.9k, the Mo has 2.6k, and they're still just waiting. They're still just waiting.
They get the wave here, though, so it might be less. Although, the silver lining here, though, is that the lane that's winning is not your position, like your high position players.
Yeah.
Like your Paradox is getting money, your Mo is getting money. Obviously good for those characters to have money, but not the best.
Yeah. And, I mean, for the side of Sancta Velum, you really want to be trying to put money into this Haze, really want to be trying to put money into the Shiv. And
Graves looking low. This could be a free pick if they go in on it. Decide to back up.
No, I think they're just going to reset. The Graves is very low. She doesn't really have too much built-in sustain. I mean, a very passive laning phase overall. Sure, we have the first blood from mid lane, but it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff is going on overall, right? Low health totals on the side of Sancta Velum. We need to start paying attention here because this is what we call the buff wave. At 4:30, when the wave drops, we need to start getting ready to pick up these bridge buffs. And we do see legit our E6 player setting up for the left side earn here, or buff here rather. Shiv is going to contest him, but I mean, this is not looking good for Shiv. He gets the buff.
He puts himself in a bad spot to parry, and he gets away with the buff. Although he did take a lot of damage from all of those perfected strikes.
I think it's just going to be a kill here. Unfortunately, no match from either side. No match there from either Sancta Velum or Last Call. If one player comes there from either team, it's going to be essentially a free kill.
Yes. Apollo sadly ran out of cooldowns, so all of his damage is gone. It's not able to chase him.
Yeah, notably one character that's not building opening rounds in this current meta.
I've seen maybe like one Apollo gun in my time of playing this game.
Yeah, and it's not good, is it?
No, not at all.
It looked like the Mo looked for a little something there on the right lane, and it just did not convert into much, but constantly trying to apply pressure onto this Warden, onto the Shiv, is going to be something that they need to start looking to do.
Mid lane has their ults up, which will probably result in a pick, considering, just barely misses the swap. Now that swap is down, we might just see a roam here from Mo to a different lane and get a combo.
Yeah, this combo is going to be a very, very key cooldown, especially when we see the Mo already having the Trophy Collector item.
Shit, there's one
Trophy Collector really encourages him to screw off, go do different things. And it just goes
down. Do they get
Are they going to be able to get the trade onto the Apollo?
I think he's chasing here. Unless he kills that heal minion.
He has the healing right.
Oh, he barely gets out. What a parry.
What a parry from the Haze, though. And it's a free kill on the Are we going to see a tower dive here from the Haze? This Apollo is so weak. It's really looking like it's diveable.
They go in.
No riposte. Got the riposte out.
Oh, what a knife.
What a sleep. Oh, and the Shiv unfortunately wakes it up, but the kill still comes out.
Did take some damage from that punch they got, but He still died.
And especially here, if you are playing this position 1 Haze, this is looking really, really good for us. Our Haze is at 5k at 7 minutes. She's going to be able to go back. She's going to be able to buy her active reload, her Swift Striker, whatever she wants here so that she can get her farm up and just look to farm camps and push her lead as much as possible here. Would not be surprised with how much of a lead this Haze has if we see another gank coming in very, very soon. As I'm saying that, the Mo looks like he's pathing towards this left lane.
Probably looking for a combo here on this Ivy.
Unfortunately, he has to wait like 50 seconds for that one.
Oh, does he not have combo up?
He does not.
My bad.
But Ivy's looking caught out here. Sleep comes out. Mo on Burrow. It's a lot of damage. That's no stone form. And with the disarm coming out, they should just be able to chase it with the Shivel.
Let's go down to Shivel.
And this is just what I said, right? This team of Last Call, they need to be looking for these 3v2s, these 2v1s, where they just have the number advantage. And the team of Last Call is just not matching these roams.
Yeah.
Not a single player has left their lane.
Lash realistically should have left lane at around 6 minutes to go gank and leave his Warden alone to solo farm, but he's still over there. Although they are pushing the Graves, tower diving her. She gets a heal me and then goes up a lot of health. And they don't get to kill her.
Yeah, it's looking like Sancta Velum. Oh, we do see a gank coming out. Oh no, sorry. It was Yamato returning to lane. And right now we're looking at the timer and it's 9 minutes. We need to start recognizing that the buffs and the urn are going to spawn. This is a very, very important timer where unfortunately this Mo's going in very quickly. Just trying to look to steal the camp, not anything too serious. A slowing Hex early from the Mo. And I mean, this is what I said. We need to have this utility to try and shut down these movement characters from the side of Last Call. So we're going to see a lot of fighting here in these next 40 seconds.
Just
trying to
barely missed the combo.
Yeah, just barely out of range. Maybe one more trophy collector stack and he would have gotten there. But these buffs and these urn are very, very important here, and we're going to see a lot of fighting and a lot of priority looking towards this left side of the map. As I say that, the Graves manages to go down on the right side, and it's
they both go down on green.
A double kill for the side of Last Call.
Now they need to. And the Slash needs to be rotating. Get this tower, then
I'm
rotate
looking at this. Sure, we're 38k to 38k, but when a Warden has 8.2k, is that 8.6k now for the side of Last Call? I am very, very afraid. And nobody was set up for the buffs. Nobody was set up for the urn. Missing these timers is very unfortunate, but we are going to have a fight for the urn pickup here. This is something that you see very, very commonly in very high elos. And it just seems like the players are playing well all around. Billy's going to pick up the urn here, most likely, and try and take it over to the other side as soon as possible. Because we're looking at the right side for Last Call, and that tower's down. That tower's down. We're going to have free priority to bring that urn over. And it just seems like a little bit of an overstay for the side of Last Call here. An amazing parry comes out for Yamato. Ult comes out. Going to look like an early kill onto the Lash here. Lash dead. Celeste manages to get the ult off. It's going to be very hard for them to continue to chase here. And the Celeste might even be able to refrag twice here. Unfortunately, she hasn't bought in a very long time. No Spirit Spike, no Torment Pulse. I don't think she's going to be able to find kills here herself.
No, she really needs this Torment Pulse here. You can see her
and there's
trying to back off, going straight to the shop, and then she goes right back in.
Apollo. And right, we see the fearlessness of this E6 player, right? He knows that he can do as he pleases in these lobbies on the character Apollo. He can walk underneath their walker, walk underneath their guardian, hell, walk into their freaking base if he wants to, and he will be able to live 95% of the time, especially on a character like Apollo with all of this amazing built-in movement. And I mean, we're just looking 11:35 on the timer, 11:40 now on the timer, and no urn pickup
Last
yet.
Call winning a lot of fights here, but yes, no urn pickup. And they sit around for too long, it seems, at low health. Everybody comes back, and now the fight begins again.
Where it's
Flash goes down, Celeste goes down. Do we see an urn pickup here from Ivy?
when you win these team fights, the thing that you immediately need to be thinking is, what can I do with this? Can I steal their farm? Can I push for a Guardian? Can I push for a Walker? Can I pick up the urn? And unfortunately, right, it's just been these towers, right? And we finally, after 2 minutes, we see Yoki picking up the urn on the Mo. Now, when we see characters picking up the Mo, there's a distinct type of character that you want to see picking up the urn. You want your tanky characters, you want your supporty characters, people that either want to be directly in the fight or very far from the fight. You don't want your carry characters picking it up, and you don't want your pick characters picking it up. Mo being the exception because of how naturally tanky he is. He's able to just look for these slam deposits, look for the fight. And we see Apollo catching out the Shiv, and
do they let him sneak in the urn?
Gets dropped. A huge fight coming out here for the side of Last Call. Warden ult is popped. Hayes ult is matched for the side of Sancta Velum. And Apollo's going to look to cancel it. Warden dies. We managed to get 2 picks onto the Billy and the Warden. Apollo is trying to look for a trade here. He's out of abilities, though. Cold Front is up. No parry this. Yamato is going to be able to chase him down. He gets comboed, and it's looking like an amazing fight for the side of Sancta Velum. Celeste is going to be caught out of position, but Loop manages to get another kill. And
maybe?
Is he going to be able to
3 away?
Here?
Oh,
no.
Doesn't get the heal creep in time. Celeste here to clean up, though.
Celeste manages to find the refrag. And
this fight is
here we
still
just see
going.
Lash picking up the urn and trying to run away with it. He wanted to look for the deposit, but they're hard marking him. They're going to be able to most likely pick up this urn.
There's a 3v2 here, not looking good for Sancta Velum.
Billy ult comes out, manages to only catch the Mo, but I think it's enough. I think it's enough to be able to secure this urn. And
Mo goes down to Shiv. He has to ult away. And he's still
urn
getting chased.
is deposited for the side of Last Call.
Notably, nothing happened anywhere else on the map either. Ivy's just been babysitting these other lanes like she needs to be. It's denying Sancta Velum any pressure on other waves.
And let's talk about why nothing else happened on this side of the map besides for the Ivy. Right now, we're seeing both of our position 1 characters in the fray, right? We're seeing the Haze, we're seeing the Warden, and them not being on this opposite side of the map is just denying them farm, and much favors the side of whichever team won the fight, and in this case, it was Last Call. Just an amazingly played set of circumstances there for Last Call.
Last Call
here we do have
get the urn, but they're still not that far ahead in terms of souls. And they still have a Guardian, or 2 Guardians up. So that's some more money that they need. So I was wrong. They're secretly ahead. More than it shows.
And that's just because of how they played the early game, right? They managed to get those early frags. They managed to look for these early roams where they just kind of shut people out. Despite this Warden being 14k, it's not looking like all hope is lost for the side of Sancta Velum. And here we see the buffs in the urn spawning once again. Celeste manages to get the movement buff. What a sleep coming out from this Haze. Can we talk about this Haze's sleeps? This has just been amazing from this Haze player. And managing to secure just trying to secure the gun buff for the side of his team, but not being able to because the Warden picks it up, unfortunately. But just
Last Call does get both buffs, and both buffs are insanely strong on the characters that got it. Your Warden gets the gun buff, and he's up a ton of money. He is super strong. They should look to fight this urn. And you're less getting the movement buff.
One thing when I'm coaching newer players, I always like to talk about the raw importance of these buffs, and the buffs are worth, at this point in the game, close to a $3,200 item, right? A lot of fire rate, a lot of fire rate, a lot of ammo, and here, this is immediately what I was talking about, right? A Lash is going to be able to get countered by a lot of things for the other team, but Apollo does manage to follow up, find the kill onto the Paradox, right? And, I mean, Last Call is just continually pressing this advantage, pushing them back into their spawn, and we can even see that this urn is now come back for the side of Sancta Velum. And honestly, what I wanted to see for the side of Last Call there was picking up the urn before fighting. So, if you guys do not know, when you pick up the urn, the spot that you deposited in gets locked into place. So, now that they didn't pick it up, it is going to be comeback until Sancta Velum comes back and gets enough souls. But they're going to pick it up anyway, and either try and deny it, or honestly, if they're strong enough here...
Feeling confident. I think they're just going to try and do this. They do get the pick onto the Graves. They do have a timing here. Although they
Three
don't
are left
have a
side
lot
here.
of
They're putting their warden on
melee
the
priority.
opposite side. This is looking very, very good for the side of last call. And if they manage to get this urn, I hate to say it, but it seems like all hope might be lost for Sancta Velum. Celeste seems to just look for the
risky slam here.
Here comes the Mo combo.
They do not get it, and they do drop the urn.
Notably,
do they hand it over? Oh, they hand it over. Sancta Velum
hand
gets the
deliver
urn.
it. UPS package, but
And
notably,
she gets comboed. And there's 4, and she's dead.
Very overzealous from our player Remo there. And why was that overzealous? Let's talk about that. It's just Yamato, one of her abilities counts as melee. So that grapple that went onto the Celeste there, even though she outmaneuvered the Mo combo, managed to knock the urn out of her hand. And while she was flustered, while she saw everybody there, she wasn't able to continue to contest them. And all she had to do was wait. All she had to do was wait.
Just needed to play it a bit slow. Wait for some more of your team to react. They were pushing the Guardian. They were not ready to fight over on that urn. You just needed to wait a bit and take a good fight, and not try to go for the slam and hand over the urn.
Right, and as I was saying, the game looked like all hope was lost, but we're going to see a little bit of an invasion here. We're going to see the Shiv, Mo, Yamato looking to fight on these doubles here. Lashholt comes out, manages to catch the Paradox. Paradox is very far out of position. The Apollo comes out, and this is a very, very hectic fight.
All of them have been.
This is true.
The drafts for both these teams are just so fight heavy.
But as we said in the drafting phase, all of the kind of crazy fights that come out are all going to be favored for the side of last call.
Yes.
Right, we have the chase down coming down with the Ivy. We have the chase down coming down with the Lash. And I wouldn't have been surprised if that was a mid call there after those 2 picks, right? We have 5 people right on the enemy team double. 14 trophy collector stacks for Loop, right? Very early pickup. Only 2 for Lash. Only 2 for Lash. This is going to be
It looks like a late pickup from the Lash, though.
Yeah. And, it's looking like it's Gun Ivy. It's position 2 Ivy, right? Maybe it was to support Ivy originally, but when she was put in that side lane scenario,
it's Tim Weak. It was never support Ivy. Silly me. This guy he's a one-trick Gun Ivy. I forgot. How could I forget this? Oh, might be a pick coming in here on the Warden.
No Hyperline there, though. Combo comes out. This is really, really good, right? Once again,
he is Warden,
going back to what I said in the draft. He just stood there and didn't die. That's quite hilarious, to be honest. Right? And now here last call is going to try and match this.
Again, they just rotate to these fights so fast.
But it does look like we're going to be able to get the kite out.
Buster up.
So let's go to get the casting buff here, most likely. Actually, Apollo ends up picking it up. He is stronger. It's probably a little bit better on him. And Sancta Velum, while all that was happening on the opposite side of the map, manages to secure the urn.
Handing over the buff there to the Apollo is the right call. He's richer. He is the higher ranked player. So letting him be as strong as possible is always a good idea.
And this is really confusing for me. Sanctum Velum opting to take the urn back to base while they had a timer with this Warden dead. If the Shiv would have taken the bounce pad, would have looked to go straight for the deposit. This Warden, right? We would have had to stick our Ivy on the side lane, and the Warden would have had to show up to the fight. It would have been very, very tough for Sancta Velum to actually contest that urn, but last call, or sorry, opposite teams. My apologies. Last call deciding that I got there. Sanctum Velum deciding to just take the urn and leave it in base. I got there, guys. Don't worry. Big Celestial coming out, matched with a gigantic Lashel. And this is what we call a mid-boss call. This is what we call a mid-boss call. Though they are opting for the Walker first. This might go actually pretty bad for the side of last call here. If a rotation comes out for Sancta Velum and they manage to catch these people out, it might not be great.
They're still choosing to stay, even with 2 on this Walker.
Right, and both of their gun damage characters are on the opposite side of the map. And Loop gets stomped to oblivion.
Gets stomped.
almost a pick onto the Billy. It's going to be a chase down here for Sancta Velum. They get the pick onto the Billy.
Oh, they get the pick
out
on
of
the
nowhere,
Billy and the Apollo.
And it's looking like this might be a mid call for Sancta Velum now, instead of what should have been an immediate mid boss call for last call.
I don't know actually what happened to the Apollo there. He might have gotten stomped too, because
oh, he got stomped. He
okay.
He went straight down to the underworld.
Apollo, not an easy man to kill, but a stomp will do that to you. The only time a walker is useful.
Hey, with those recent
they do get the walker though. Actually,
they managed to get the walker, and Sancta Velum actually doesn't do the mid boss. They don't manage to trade for anything else. They're just going to try and pick up this urn, and I feel like it's too little too late at this point, right? You traded some kills for the walker, but the other team also got some kills. Trying to force this urn fight while you don't have combo, while you don't have the Yamato ult, it's going to be a little bit tough.
3 on it already too. Although they don't have any side lane pressure, other than this Ivy matching Graves.
Waves are just naturally pushing
slam
for Sancta Velum here. No slam comes out. Yamato is going to get picked.
Yamato early picked. Billy not dropping to grab the urn.
Early pick, and now we still have 2 people on the opposite side of the map. It's going to be a hand delivery, and finally, I think this is going to be a mid call for last call.
Last call, win the urn fight. They do lose mid walker, although they should get mid boss out of this. And yep, it looks like they're all running straight from mid.
Let's play.
Flash detouring to take a buy.
Notably, not the best thing to do, but it is okay.
No.
It seems like Ivy is going to be pushing out probably one more wave here and then looking to get into the fray here at the mid boss. Stoneform, very important utility. One thing that we didn't talk about in the drafting, abilities that matter in mid, and looking at last call's comp, right? We have the Lash ult, we have the Billy ult, we have the Ivy Stoneform, and Sancta Velum just with the Yamato ult, they're just not going to be able to contest here.
Sancta Velum has Paradox. I don't know if she has max ult yet, but what she does have max ult is a very good contest tool.
This is true. This is true, right? Being able to silence these opponents and, stopping them from using the Stoneform, stopping them from using the Lash ult, and just taking them all out of pit immediately is very, very good for Sancta Velum. But just no contest there, giving it up.
Last calls or mid contest is just much better overall.
And honestly, I don't even know if the mid contest was something taken into account. I've noticed this a lot in these recent games. A lot of playing safe. And just kind of giving objectives when you have to, and not really looking to force these fights that you don't think are favorable, even if they're game-winning or losing fights. So what I expect to see here for the side of last call is playing slow. They're going to pick up this urn the second that it spawns here in 1 second, excuse me. They're going to farm, preferably on Sancta Velum's side, and once they spend all this money that they're going to get by just pushing their advantage, right, with these double buffs, with the urn in hand, it's going to be very, very hard for Sancta Velum and these 3 rejuves, very hard for Sancta Velum to take any fight anywhere on the map right now. All you're looking for is one mistake, and if you can't find a mistake, you're just going to have to give everything up.
Paradox trying to push the green walker. She is matched by Ivy. Might see some kind of rotation onto this to try to pick her.
Doesn't look like they've realized yet. And Paradox is just, he said, nah, I'm not doing that. And just look at how passive his team is playing, right? They know that the urn is getting deposited. They know that there's going to be a lot of people there. The Paradox had an amazing idea to try and look for something on the opposite side of the map. Despite the other team having 3 rejuves, trying to look for something like that is what's going to be able to get you back into this game. Because at this point, you're down 20k, you're down a walker, right? It's going to be, especially your... excuse me, I was just thinking that the blue walker was theirs, but when you're just
in
this position where you're down here so much,
might be able to get a pick.
It's going to be very hard.
Left lane.
See, this is what I said, right? We're going to need to look for a mistake, and Rewarden makes a mistake, but they don't manage to catch it out quick enough. Apollo can actually rotate. We also see a big fight going on here in blue. So the Lash ult coming out, picking off both the Haze and the Mo, and an immediate rotation over from the Apollo, right? They saw that they were chasing this Warden, so they said, okay, let's push this Walker, right?
Mid Walker
Blue
does
Walker
go down
to the side of last call.
they still have so much rejuve time left too. They might get. Yes, looks like they're all just trying to go for the last sidewalker.
Yeah, while these death timers are so long, right, at this point in the game, if they go 6-man here, even despite them not having a lot of their strong ultimates, if they manage to get a pick or two here, it's going to look really, really good for last call, as long as they don't overstay.
They catch them onto the rotate into the walker, so they don't even get to fight under their walker here. Although Paradox does make it, tries to go for the swap, does not land it. And the walker
and with the walker down, this Paradox is just going to be so out of position. Another pick comes out onto the side of last call, and it's just going to look like a W key into their spawn. Apollo comes out to engage. He is having
pick.
Who cares? He has rejuve. It's about to expire. We need to walk. We need to use our rejuve here, while we have them.
Yes, you want to die. You do not care about dying here. You have the rejuve. Right. You might as well.
When you respawn, you have the ethereal shift, right? And we see exactly that. He goes in, lightning scroll onto the Ivy ult, going to manage to catch out the haze here, and this is just masterfully played. Masterfully played from the side of last call. It's going to be an amazing, amazing conversion of a Rejuvenator. Notably, the Rejuvenator is out, and they managed to get the refrag onto Celeste, but their base is getting dropped here, and when you're down this 50, 40,000 souls, it's going to be very hard.
You're going to need somebody to start rotating out to try and pick up those base waves. Especially this Walker. Do not want that to take damage here. Love to see an Ivy run out. But no, they just let it crash.
Letting it go.
So many wasted souls. They do opt to just drop and leave.
Apollo
dies to the base guardians.
Pick here. Not noticing that those base guardians are still alive, right? And if we manage to catch another pick here onto this Lash, Sancta Velum should be able to convert this into another Walker and a lot of farm. Honestly, it was masterfully played until they had to leave.
They just stayed a bit too long, took a bit too much damage to all the
structures and a lot of the damage, right, coming out from the Graves, coming out from the Yamato, right? This burst damage that they weren't expecting, right? It was very tough.
Not able to drop fast enough. They did drop though. They got both shrines of pair base guardians.
And right, this game's still going to be really hard for Sancta Velum, but they should be able to at least get a little bit of compensation here with this Walker.
Their whole team is here, so they do get the opposite side Walker, at the very least.
Right, and it's a straight 3v3 against 3 of the strongest players on last call, right? This Fortune with 38k, this Ivy with 34, and the Celeste with 32. It's going to be very hard for them to actually secure this Walker.
They do get the Walker, and they do get both Walkers.
But at the cost of 3 lives, right? Now it's going to give the map entirely up to last call. They're going to farm all of the other team's side of the map, take all their sinners, grab the buffs, grab the urn. Notably, the urn did spawn on the correct side for Sancta Velum to take that and hold it in the base and make sure that last call can't get it. But it's looking like it's going to be a 4, 5-man, maybe even 6-man push onto the right lane here for last call and just trying to catch them while their pants are down, you know? Like, go into their base and end the game while 3 are dead. This is an amazing call. What I can only assume is their E6 player.
You got to be careful about these kind of things when your base has been dropped. You just cannot lose any fights. Otherwise, you risk this happening.
So, 10 seconds until Paradox is up, 5 until Mo is up. Early pick onto the Yamato. Lash is looking for an ult here. Going to be able to cancel the Haze ult. Doesn't manage to.
Goes after the Mo, but Haze still goes down. This is not looking good for Sancta Velum.
Yeah, this is just going to be a game win here for last call. As I said, they had to play this mid game very strong. They couldn't be getting caught out, and in fact, they were the ones catching other people out. And wow,
what a game!
I'll tell you this much: I'm not looking forward to playing against them tomorrow.
I would not either.
And now at this point in the tournament, they're 2-0. They're feeling good. They're feeling well.
Yes. I hate to say it, but there was just a severe draft differential here.
Yeah, 100%. Right.
Letting them get the Warden, the Apollo. It just
Yeah, I
I don't know.
as we said in the draft, just the quality of characters is much higher for the side of last call. And, right, we were looking at positions and who was going to be where, and honestly, it looked like Sancta Velum didn't know where to put their carry. It looked like they didn't know where to put their support. It looked like they didn't know where to put their front line outside of the first 10 minutes of the game, right? They played a very decent early game. They managed to get some refrags, but once the game kind of devolved into chaos, they looked a little bit lost, never really picked up the urn, didn't try to convert into mid-boss ever. And once Last Call managed to convert that into mid-boss, the game was going to be always very tough for Sancta Velum.
Yes. I mean, Last Call just played that game so well, fighting constantly like they needed to with their comp, winning pretty much all of the fights, getting most of the urns, eventually converting into mid-boss, getting just the objective play from Last Call was outstanding.
Yeah. Very, very large macro differential there. I mean, and like, just to talk about some notable players here, right? Loop, obviously, he's an E6 player, but not even getting the MVP in the last game because of how active that Celeste was. That Celeste was constantly across the map after that 10-minute mark, right? Involved in nearly every single fight there. And
34 KP. Insane.
Yeah, I mean, 34 out of what? Close to 50 KP. Just amazingly played. A lot of damage from the Light Eater there. And just a well-played game from Last Call overall.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you say? What else can you say? Putting their Warden in the side lane, constantly looking for fights around the Celeste, Apollo, and Lash ult. One thing that we didn't really talk about in the game was how well they were fighting around their ult cooldowns, right?
Yes.
Every fight, they had Lash ults into Apollo ults into Celeste ult. Every single time.
So many great ults coming out of the Lash too. Always getting 2 pretty much with every ult.
Yeah.
The combos there are just so beautiful. Not a lot of synergy looking or on the Sancta Velum team compared to Last Calls.
Right. Really, the synergy that we were looking for was this Paradox swap into Mo ult, but they really didn't play around it too well, right? They managed to find the one pick in the mid game on the Warden, but it just wasn't enough for them to shut them out of the game. It just was not enough. Turtle, anything else? You got something to say? I mean, you play a decent amount of these characters, right? You played the Yamato. Or no, I play all these characters.
No. The only person here I play is none of them. Although right. I did play Warden earlier today.
Oh, did you?
But I did.
You got put on the M1 jail.
Yeah, or Nifty not showing up for the matches.
I mean, Sancta Velum, they had a chance there. They could have looked to convert that mid-boss when there was that little bit of an overextension onto that Walker, and they didn't even manage to pick up the urn or anything off of it. It was just missing timings, missing for ganks, missing for a lot of things in that game, and inevitably that's why Last Call won. They found a timing. What was it?
This is the Group A standings. Last Call and the Sinner Suckers both managing to come out victorious in both their games. Sancta Velum and Swamp Steam here.
Yeah.
Pretty dirty. 1-1. Unfortunately, Eternal Clairvoyance and the Unsundered did lose both games.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at this competition, Last Call and the Sinner Suckers, they're looking very, very strong in terms of their team, right? They seem to know how to play the macro of the game. They seem to know when to look to convert things. And one thing that you guys have yet to see is these Sinner Suckers, their early game, very strong. Their Bebop absolutely shut us out. We got shut out throughout the early game. And I have a feeling that the early game is going to matter so much throughout the length of this tournament, right? Being able to put your high elo, strong players into a great position is something that's going to be very, very important. The length of this tournament.
I don't have a lot to say on this group because I was not part of it, but I'm very excited to see what comes out of there.
Looking at the schedule, First game's looking pretty awesome. You guys should come check that out. That's going to be pretty derby.
I don't know.
My team, Guy with a Mustache's team, against Eternal Clairvoyance. I'm feeling pretty hopeful. As long as we can come out of the early, not a lot. It's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be pretty good for us. Sinner Suckers versus the Unsundered. Now, we beat the Unsundered. The Unsundered are 0-2 right now. But they had a little bit of a team to them. They took us by our...
Yes, I saw the end of that game. It was a very close game. They did not let you have that easily.
No. And actually, they were up at 20k at one point in the game, and we just managed to make a good mid call, get an earn in, and turn the game around. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of an upset in this game with the Unsundered winning. And then I'll leave this one for Turtle to talk about.
The final game for tomorrow should be a very good game. My team, the Heavy Hitters, we are currently 2-0. Utter Woke Nonsense, I believe 2-0 as well.
Also 2-0, yeah.
So that should be a great game to watch, a great game for me to play in. It's going to be so fun. I personally am friends with somebody on the other team, so a bit of rivalry going on there.
And
I'm so excited for that game.
To talk about Utter Woke Nonsense's team, before when the auction happened, they were Phantom, Oracle, Ascendant players. But they've played together as a team, and they've come together and managed to bring their players up. 5 of them are now Ascendant players.
Yeah,
5 of them are now Ascendant players.
That has spent this entire week since draft playing together. They're so in tune.
Yeah, and chemistry in these one-off weekend tournaments is something that you don't get a lot of, right? Sometimes you're with your friends, sometimes you're not. But this team, they didn't know each other too well, but they came together and they played a lot of games together. But honestly, the same can be said with the Heavy Hitters. I've personally been ringing for them, and Turtle, you can talk on this. Your team has great vibes, and just overall, it seems like you guys play together like a unit.
We may get a bit too silly at times, but we do lock in when we need to. And
this game's going to be one that you need to. That game's going to be one that you need to. It is.
Luckily, we will have our full roster for this game.
Yeah. Notably, the Heavy Hitters are 2-0 today, replacing an Eternus 1 caliber player with an Oracle player. That makes me scared for tomorrow's, right? Potential 5-0 for the Heavy Hitters, honestly. Potential.
That's what I'm hoping for. My money's on that team.
I'm sure you are, bro. I'm sure you are.
All right. Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and watching all of these games. Such great games, even though I only got to watch one. I believe the others were great.
Yeah. I mean, just playing in them. This tournament's been so much fun. If you guys are interested, please, in the future, check out these tournaments.
Shout out to all of the people setting up this tournament. Sarah Lee, Moon, all of the admins, all putting in great work. Jace as well. Just great tournament. If you guys are interested, I'm sure they're going to be hosting more. Make
sure to check out the Discord server, and I mean, guys,
and make sure to check out.
It's going to be a day tomorrow. Yep, and make sure to tune in for Grands too. You have to. I'm forcing you. I'm forcing you to.
You can't tell, but I'm also pointing at my metaphysical camera.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
This is the Cursed Apple Patron Rumble, or no, Cursed Apple Rumble.
No, you said it right. Cursed Apple.
Oh, I said it right. Yep. Thank you guys for hanging out. Have a great night.
GG's, y'all.